Yo, this your boy EC22, and I'm on the line with my boy, co-host Coach D-Way. And this is the FairWeather Fan Show, man. Before we go no further, please like, subscribe, share, leave comments, all the above. Most of all, do what you do best and join the conversation because we about to get into it. Listen, we ain't got no thumbnails, we ain't got no titles. I want you to dive in the conversation because we're gonna be talking about whatever we're gonna talk about. So just if you click on this channel, if you're watching right now, tell everybody you know, all your friends and family. Just get on and just dive into the conversation. All right, let's kick it off right now. NCAA softball has been struck with a hard situation this week. Yesterday, to be exact. The Oklahoma Sooner has finally decided they don't want to go to a championship game. Oh, that was heartbreaking, Coach D-Wade. That was heartbreaking. What's going on, my brother? Being 10 in the house, man. What's going on, my boy? Yeah, so man, listen, that is, did you get a chance to watch that beatdown? I ain't gonna say beatdown, that close game, could have been close game with Texas Tech and Oklahoma.
Oh my gosh, I cannot believe you went there.
I did. I went there.
That you freaking went there.
I definitely went there.
We turned it on. We couldn't turn it off. I kept looking. I kept trying to change the channel, but I couldn't. I just couldn't do it, E. It was so good.
Yeah.
So good. And man, props to the girls, the women out there in the Panhandle of Lubbock, Texas, man.
Yeah.
For getting it done.
So let me ask you this question: was you rooting for or rooting against Oklahoma?
It was weird because part of me actually was rooting for the dynasty to continue.
Yeah.
And then I found part of me was rooting for the up and comers to take their place on the mantle. And I'm gonna tell you something. That Texas Tech team is young and they're loaded with freshmen that can play.
Absolutely.
And they may be the team of the next 3, 4, 5 years, but man, what's the old girl's name? Chandler. What's the girl's name that was pitching on the mound?
Yeah, I forget her name, but she was blazing that ball, man.
Kennedy. Yeah, both those girls, both those pitchers deserve to win that game. Welcome, J-Dub.
What up, J-Dub? I see you over there, man, and your whip. I see you. I like it. I like it a lot.
Bro, listen, it's been a long day. Y'all keep going.
And so,
hey, man. For those that we podcast from in there, we from the living room to the truck. That's how we do. I started the podcast from the truck today myself, but I'm like, I'm going to get in the house, man.
Yeah, we're rolling in Dallas and in Philly and in Great Falls, Montana. We don't care. Just join the show, man. And
join the show.
Have some fun with it.
So y'all know how I felt about Oklahoma, right? My wife is from there, so I've been watching this dynasty for years now. But I'm pretty sure you already know who I am a fan of. What is my favorite conference?
Big 12.
So as much as I hate to see Oklahoma lose, I'm like, bring it back home. Because SEC had almost every single team in the softball tournament, and here come a Big 12 team making it all the way. And they got to go against the in-state rival against Texas. You talking about a battle if you ain't ever seen one. Here we go. Texas Tech versus Texas. I love it. And I'm rooting for Texas Tech to win because Texas went to the SEC. They sold out. So let's go Big 12, take this thing home.
J-Dub, we're talking about that crazy softball game that happened yesterday with Tech and Oklahoma.
Yeah, I got to hear a little bit about it, but I didn't get to see. Again, it's been crazy the last 24 hours for me. So I'm just listening, and I know Oklahoma's been a dynasty for like 4 or 5 years now.
Yeah, 4 years. Yeah.
So. The short cliff notes are Tech led the game the entire game 2-0.
Yeah.
Both pitchers were pitching a freaking gem.
Yeah.
Both pitchers were dominant. In the top of it's a 7-inning game.
Right.
OU is batting in the top of the 7th down 2-0. They get somebody on first base. Their number 9 hole girl comes up. Number 9, the last girl in the batting order. And she's got an 0-2 count on her. And she proceeds to put that next pitch over the right field wall to tie the game in the top of the 7th, 2-2.
Yeah.
Man, listen. Listen. I kind of got goosebumps because anybody who played any sport at any time, that's what we dream about.
Yes,
That's the moment we dream of.
Absolutely.
Yes. And it was standing room only. Let me tell y'all something. I am convinced that the most radical, most hardcore fans in any sport are ladies, women softball fans.
Man.
They are out of control, dude. You know,
and I love it. You never seen passion from fan base until you see softball fans. And that's one thing I love. My uncle, man, was a long-term softball coach, man. Most of my cousins played up under him, man. He just had this passion for softball, man. And just even when we go have a family reunion, we always had to have some type of softball tournament, man. And that's what got me into the love of softball. And of course, then marrying somebody from Oklahoma, knowing that the Sooners was always their national team because they ain't got no other team besides the Thunder. But growing up, there was no other national team. So that was, state team. So that was any team out of OU. So it was just great watching Patty Gasso do her thing with that squad over there, man. And then the hurt they felt. The hurt they felt at the bottom of the seventh. Oh, my God.
And then Jay Tech comes back in the bottom of 7 and scores a run. And it's a walk-off. They went 3-2. And the crowd goes crazy. It was, man, what a roller coaster ride for those Sooners and those Raider fans. Fun stuff. Good stuff. So, man,
and softball is the only sport that we play until we're like 84 years old, right?
Oh, man, you still got to see this. Hey, look, y'all will crack up if y'all ever came to our family reunion and watch us all get out there from 4 and 5-year-old kids all the way up to 70, 80, just getting out there and loving it, just loving it, Now, of course, there's a handicap. We slow pitch. We make sure everybody get a chance to hit the ball, but it's something that you love. Softball is always fun. But, building that arena's been there for a while, but renovating that arena down there for softball in Oklahoma City, you would think, and for years, because Oklahoma has always been there, that this would be more of a home game for them. But man, did those Texas Tech fans travel? Oh my God, they went across the dirt panhandle, went straight to Oklahoma City, and they showed up, and man, and it was a beat down. Now the letdown was on Saturday when Texas finally won against Oklahoma after beating them for 12 straight years, and then Texas didn't get a chance to get their redemption because I know they would love to see Oklahoma in the championship game, but Texas Tech had something to say about that, so that's where we are. But I was concerned. And I don't know how this works in softball, but I was concerned about them using that same picture they did on Sunday into Monday. And I know that's their best picture, and she did good for the most part, but I don't know what the damage is, because here's the thing. If they would have won that game, they had to play a follow-up game that same night. So I don't know, what do you do in that situation? Was she going to play both games? I don't know.
Yeah.
Go pitch both games. That's a lot to ask for a young lady to go 14 innings back to back like that. And it was if it didn't give away in that game, it was going to probably give away in the next game. That was just too much right there. So that was rough.
100%. And softball's one of the few games that I can think of where if you have a dominant pitcher, you always have a chance.
Yeah.
Okay. Even in Major League Baseball, all the great pitchers that we grew up watching and idolizing and watching today, even when they're dominant, they can get beat on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So, but man, it's crazy. It's crazy. So
Jada, let me ask you this question. So we know how fast the balls can go with those small baseballs in baseball, right? You get 90 miles an hour, fast pitch, baseball. But the young lady from Texas Tech was slinging 80 plus miles an hour softball.
Lord.
She was slinging that ball.
That's a big ball coming fast.
I know.
In a very short distance, too.
Yeah. But she was slinging that ball. I was like, oh, my God. I called my wife and said, hey, you got to come. I know Oklahoma's your team. You don't want to see them lose, but you got to come watch this girl. She is giving them the biz out there.
It was fun.
I think the fastest, I'm not a huge softball fan, but I think the fastest, I watch all sports, but I think the fastest I remember is like low 70s. And you're talking about, that's crazy.
The average is around like 58 to 65.
Yeah,
that's
I was
usually
going to
average.
say 60 average. Right.
So this girl's changeup is mid to high 50s.
Oh,
it's nuts, Jay.
That is crazy.
And she's got it spinning every which way but loose. So yes, it's good. And man, props to you, E, for starting the show with that, because that was so good, man.
Oh yeah. I know this is
kudos,
Fan.
Kudos to you, bro.
We show love to women's sports on this channel. That's just what we do. We love, especially in this summer. Basketball has come down to the last 2 games. They not going to play until Thursday, I believe. And so we still have the WNBA and softball that's kicking out. So I can't wait to see how this thing turn out, because I'll definitely be sitting around watching this whole championship series between Texas Tech and Texas. I've been toiling over this for the last couple of days, and if y'all don't mind, let me see it. We're 11 minutes into the show. I want to give at least 20 minutes to this conversation, because I just want to clear the air on a lot of different things. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, so I made a Facebook post and a YouTube video about Angel Reese, and it was simply saying, and the caption was just simple, Angel Reese. And on the thumbnail, it says she's not as bad as you think. And in this video, I goes on to talk about how, obviously, she's a defender and a rebound and stuff like that. So while everybody keep throwing these clips about how bad it is when her making the layups, but the problem I have is that there's 2 sides of the ball. When you look at people like the Kimmy Mutombo, Ben Wallace, Draymond Green, Dennis Rodman, guys that are Hall of Famers who did it for rebound and defense, and now we get an Angel Reese, and everybody is trashing her because she's not the offensive threat that they thought she was, or the same offensive threat she was in LSU. And they tend to overlook her defensive prowess, or how it's hard to score over her. I watched Fee have a hard time scoring over her. I watch Asia Wilson have a hard time scoring over, right? But they keep marginalize her offense. And I said, you know what? There's 2 sides of the ball. And that was just my only take. And man, did the Boo Birds come out? They did. They came out, boy. I was digging that boy. I kept moving a lot of dirt because they kept trying to bang Asia Reese. I'm just like, get out, she ain't dead yet. And so that's the kind of stuff I went into. And then I don't know, because of the algorithm, every time I scroll up TikTok, go through YouTube, I must saw at least about 50 posts, different posts on everybody just trashing Angel Reese. I'm just so narrative out there. And the question is that fair?
Yeah, it's fair. It's fair. She's a professional athlete. It is fair for us to criticize her. She doesn't care about our opinion, but that's what we do. The sports fans, we talk about players. Angel's biggest problem is her offensive decision making. Okay,
absolutely.
I've been a huge Angel Reese fan since her sophomore year of college. She is a dog on the defensive end. Not many college girls can stop Lauren Betts, who's got absolutely 5 inches on her. She's a dog on the board. She's a dog on defense. She's got iffy offensive decision making. Maybe don't try to shoot over 3 people. Maybe know your limitations and know you're not as good as I should be around the basket. Let me get this offensive board and get it back to my guard and let her set up the offense. Angel's biggest enemy is Angel.
Right.
Okay. And then she's also going to constantly face criticism. Let's use that word, because Angel is the public person, right? She goes to the big events. She has a podcast. She's a beautiful young lady, so she's gonna get hate from that too, because ugly people hate on pretty people, because that's just what we do. So but to answer your question, is it warranted? Yes, it's warranted. She's a professional athlete, that she's gonna constantly get it, and it's never gonna go away. Now, what can help her, I'm gonna say it one more time and I'm gonna pass the mic, is she's got to do better decision making. She has to do better, or she has to find a way to do better in the offseason and get better on the block.
Right.
Okay, because she is not good down there on offense. As good as she is everywhere else, that's how bad she is on offense.
Right.
And
Coach D-Way, what you got, Coach D-Way?
So, Angel's she's a hoss. Angel brings a lot of that on herself because she likes to talk.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that's a bad thing. We all play sports, and
right.
And there's a place for that. But it's kind of like the Dennis Rodman thing. Rodman was a beast, but there's a lot of haters on Rodman because he ran his mouth all the time, and he was high maintenance, and he was kind of a diva. Well,
absolutely.
Angel Reese is
all those things.
Is that Dennis Rodman? But here's my thing. Okay, I don't think, and then I'm going to hear E talk. This is my last comment on this. I don't think we're going to be talking about Angel Reese in 5 or 6 or 7 years from now.
Right.
Like we're talking about a host of these other great women that are great players.
Right.
When I say
but we can.
Huh?
Brother, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but we can. If Angel puts the work in, she's still young enough. She still has enough game that if she can, I don't know, I don't want to use the word fix, but that's the only one coming to mind. If she can fix her problems, then we can still be talking about her being a perennial all-star. I totally think she's going to be somebody for the next handful of years, barring any injury.
So
but the criticism is on her offense. The criticism is on her offense, and it's rightly so.
And so we don't know what her work ethic is. I hope it's good. But I'm gonna take one of EC's girls, one of his favorite players. If she could get to Aaliyah Boston offensively to that level,
right?
Then hey, we'd be seeing something, okay? But I'm like Jay. They're professional athletes, okay?
Yeah.
So we can say and do and talk about, because that's what makes shows like this so much fun.
Oh, absolutely, and of course we bring it up because this is what the world is talking about. So my 2 cents is this: I critique her offensive skill set a lot, because I remember watching her at LSU and I thought, man, this girl was good around the basket, and then now coming to the WNBA where the girl's a lot bigger, and now she can't seem to get the ball in the basket. And when I look at her game, I look at her footwork, I see why. When you look at people like Angel Reese, or even I watched our girl Kayla McBuckets dive to the basket, and she's a whole lot shorter. But what she did was she got the ball up at further away from the basket, and she got a good arc off the backboard. Angel Reese going to drive the ball right up under the basket and then put herself in no man's land, then try, like J-Dub said, lay up over 2 or 3 people. And at that point, she's throwing the ball up. She's not trying to place it. She's just throwing it up, hoping to go in, because that's her weak footwork. And she got a lot to work on that.
So here's, hey, I love that. And here's why, right? If you're really good in high school, you struggle in college because you don't know how to study academically. If you're talented and you have that mentality and you're a dog everywhere else, you don't have to learn footwork. You don't have to perfect your skill, because she was good enough intensity wise. Well, now she's playing against professional women who her intensity can't do it all for her. It obviously does a lot for her still, but it can't do it all. Right. So she never had to learn. Kayla was never the biggest, meanest, hardest dog on the court. Paige or Caitlin, or we won't even say Aaliyah, right? They all had to learn skill. Skill. Angel is a gifted athlete with a champion mentality. She never learned how to make a jump shot. She never learned how to do the proper technique of footwork on the block. So she's suffering from her own greatness right now, and she has to find a way to make up for that.
Yep.
I mean, to practice extra to get up to that.
Yeah, and there's another aspect that I see too, because and I love the examination of her skill set. When you're a person like Angel Reese, who you have all the success in college and you got all these celebrities coming to your game, and then they're making you larger than life, and here you are, you're just a 19-year-old, 20-year-old young lady in college, and you get all these celebrities. Now you got the NIL deal, now you're making bukus of money, and then of course and now through social media, through mainstream media, you're the talk of the town, along with saying Caitlin and others. Now that brings a lot of pride to you, and do she believes in herself? Absolutely. But I know nobody wants her game to increase more than Angel Reese, but at the same time, she's going to defend herself against the naysayers, because she knows the worst, as she should, right? The other part of it is that as much as we critique her offense, as we should, like Jada said, my only concern with that is that when people say she's trash, and her one young lady said that she can't play basketball at all, and I'm sitting there like, it's sad, because last week we gave Rudy Gobert to him a new one. right?
Yeah.
But we criticize his offense because we could. But nobody called Rudy Gobert trash except for Coach who chimed in, Coach Martez, right? But we all agreed that Rudy Gobert is a beast when it comes to defense, and the reason why we criticize it because his defense didn't show up in the game didn't matter. But he's what, 3-time defensive player of the year? So we know what he can do defensive rebound, right? That part didn't show up, and that's what kind of got us zeroing in him. Angel Reese is killing on defense. She's killing on rebounds. And so when people say she's trash, I'm like, don't at least examine the other side of her game because that's not fair. And then somebody brought up field goal percentage, right? Do you know that she's scoring a higher average than Jewel Lloyd? Do you know she has a higher field goal percentage than Rain Howard? Superstars, all-stars. It's the beginning of the season. She has a lot to work on, right? You talking about Jewel Lloyd is shooting terrible, but nobody's trashing Jewel Lloyd. Rain Howard is the superstar in Atlanta, my team, but nobody's trashing her, right? And then even with that don't mean nothing. The next question is this. You guys, is it fair when you critique a player to bring up another player? Or because you want to, like, is somebody going to say, like, I don't like it. If I'm talking about Jordan, I'm going to talk about Jordan. If I'm talking about LeBron, I'm talking about LeBron. If I don't like LeBron's game, I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, LeBron is this, that, because Jordan scored 6. If I'm talking about LeBron, I'm talking about LeBron. I don't need to bring up Jordan to validate him. I think that part is unfair. You got 2 young ladies who play 2 different positions. If you're going to talk about Angel, talk about Angel. Yeah, but they keep bringing up Caitlin Clark every single post I heard. And it's always the narrative of she ain't Caitlin Clark. She mad at Caitlin Clark. She hating on Caitlin Clark. Angel Reese need da. And I'm like, just talk about her game and leave Caitlin out of it.
First of all, Angel hates on everybody. She's talking trash with everybody. The list of her nemesis, is that the plural of nemesis? Anyway, is growing significantly. It's getting bigger and bigger because she's like,
who has she talked about? Like who has she talked about?
No,
I
not like talked about, but there's been some on-court scuffles, right?
Oh yeah.
You know, her and so this whole Caitlin Angel thing is media driven. It's people who don't watch the game, don't watch the sport, don't watch a regular season game in the middle of June, right? So they are looking for a narrative, and they found a bird magic black white narrative to get their 5 minutes of fame on a little podcast over. But I don't listen. Even when I see those, I might watch it for a second or two, but I guess I'm just arrogant enough that I don't really want anybody else's opinion. I think my opinion is the only one I need. So when all these people say things about Angel, they may be right or not, but at the end of the day, does it matter? Does it matter? I mean, no matter what they say, she's still an all-star. She's still one of the rising stars of the league. She's got more holes than Swiss cheese in her game, but she can fix that still.
Right.
Yes, sir.
I love players. I love players, and that coach said it's angel driven. And this is what gets me about the when you get new introduction to something, and the what's in caption are certain players, you're going to watch them. Just like all the new fans with LeBron. And people heard about Jordan, but now they're saying LeBron, so now they're watching NBA for LeBron. And all of a sudden now LeBron get a lot of unjust hate because people haven't watched basketball until Jordan, big pause, then LeBron, and then they're scrutinizing LeBron game because he don't have 6 like Jordan. But these people scrutinize LeBron, having watched him play and see all the greatness that he does, right? So, but when those haters out there that create these TikToks and they're just critiquing every little thing that LeBron do, and I'm like, that's not fair because LeBron has a different game. Now, LeBron do have chips and has a skill set that's phenomenal that Angel haven't brought to the game yet. But at the end of the day, Angel believes in herself, right? And I love, because there's nothing like having a person who can believe in himself, who's going to talk trash on the court, who's going to make you believe, who's going to put fear in people's heart, because nobody's afraid of her offensive skills, right? Nobody. But are they? Because every time she's scoring a layup, they're collapsing on her. You know what I'm saying? They're doubling Tina. You know what I'm saying?
They're getting ready for the rebound.
and even with that, and here's the crazy part about that. And somebody say, oh, she's getting on rebounds. I'm like, listen, do you know how hard it is to track the ball? Because if that was easy to track the ball, because she ain't the only one that's missing rebounds. If you've been watching WNBA, there's been a lot of ball just going over the backboard. A lot of balls is missing, and none of them get thrown rebounds like Angel Reese. Even when you got 2 or 3 people, 4 people down there, she's still tracking on ball, and that's still a hard task to do because she's seeking out. So it ain't like that's just a given. You throw the ball up, you get your own rebound. It's like padding stats. I mean, but that's what they're poking fun of. It is still hard to grab a rebound when you got to go, especially when it's you against 3 of the other opponent's team. That's not an easy thing to do, right? So the hatred. I get the critique, and that's the word you chose to use, J-Dub, and I love it. It's okay to critique. We can critique, but what I'm hearing is just straight up hatred. And I don't think that's fair.
I don't think it's fair either, but those people don't know what they're talking about, okay? And, man, I had something good for you. I had something good. Oh, so, and those people who talk about her padding stats, maybe she is, maybe she isn't, but when she got injured last year, at the time of her injury, if you take away all her own missed rebounds, where she rebounds her own missed shots, she was still leading the league by like 34 rebounds a game. I mean, total. So again, a lot of people don't know what they're talking about. A lot of people say things outside their realm. A lot of people looking for their little 15 minutes of TikTok fame. I guess I don't pay enough attention to it.
Well, I like the point that Jay Johnson, he said Camaro fans hate Mustangs solely because they like Chevy. Fans are the same way. If you have an appreciation for sports and appreciate the athletes, you like all automobiles, appreciate different cars. So yeah, if you like the athletes, you appreciate it in every different form. Yeah, everybody want to see the fast cars like Caitlin Clark, who's gonna get you to 0 to 60 and 0 to 60 in 3 seconds. But you know that little Daewoo guy. Hey, look now, it's a car.
It's so funny because we're talking about 2 different type of players,
right?
2 different individuals that play 2 different positions, that play their game totally different, and they're both very effective and good at what they do. So this is almost, it's like J-Dub said, a guy that's a fan, a guy that really knows basketball, like these 3 cats right here on this podcast do. We're not going to give that any time or effort or attention. We're going to laugh because that just shows the ignorance in the fans that are talking the smack. Okay.
Ooh, and let me hit y'all with the hypothetical. What if I think Angel's done in 2 years in Chicago? What if Indiana signs her and they put them on the court together? What's everybody going to have to say then?
They don't have anything to say.
J-Dub, I actually thought when I was making that video, I said, because we know how the WNBA works, right? I see this happening. And I hope it happened because Angel Reese she's not a franchise player that's gonna. You can't put your whole team on her.
No, you cannot.
That's not how she's built. And she can't help all of the social media fans that she has. She has 5 million social media fans. Caitlin has like 4 million. She can't help all the success she got at LSU that's followed her to WNBA. With that come much scrutiny. With that must come a lot of people watching her with a microscope. And all that comes with hate. You know what I'm saying? Caitlin Clark got just as much as haters as Angel Reese. And that's why there's back and forth going on. And it's not right. And I hate hearing the Caitlin Clark narrative about racism and all this other stuff, bringing all, and it's like, let these women play basketball because they're going to stand in their lane and do their thing, right? Me and my dad was talking about this earlier, and Magic and Bird went through the same situation. How the fans tried to pit them against each other. But what they did, they played the rivalry of each other, but they came back out and they made it their business. Hey, listen, let's look face to face. We're going to shut all this down right now. We're going to be rivals on the court.
Come on,
off the court. We are brothers. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know if these women, these young people have that. I don't know if their pride is that strong not to do that. Maybe when they get older, maybe they're walking out of the league. I don't know. But that's what's going to happen because the fans need to chill out because the fans are not even watching the sport, but they got so much to say. They're watching clips. And I mean, if you don't like a player, if you don't like KD, you can pull up every single clip of KD missing a shot and make a post about it and get all the folks who don't watch KD on your side. If somebody wanted to criticize Caitlin Clark, all you have to do is see when she played defense and how she can't guard an apple sitting on the ground.
That's why, listen, brother, same. You can clip anything together nowadays, but that's why I don't listen to many people except you remember when we were talking about football, it's a lot different to watch the game and how people respond to turnovers and how people respond to getting sacked versus looking at the box score the next day. It's two completely different things. So these people who are box score watchers, bro, I ain't got nothing to say. I can't speak to them. That's the reason I love this podcast so much, is I can talk to two people who know what they're talking about. They're not box score watchers, right? Most people are, though.
Yeah.
What did he just say?
So this is Coach. Coach said, "Look, man, I don't have an issue with Angel Reese. I have an issue with the way she talks so much when her name back up." Yeah, and Coach, listen, Coach, and Coach. No, see, Coach. Yeah, I'm gonna tell y'all something about Coach Martez Turner, right? Coach Martez Turner is that he gonna call an apple an apple. He gonna call an orange an orange. You know, he gonna call
love that
unapologetically, and I love him for that, right? And me and Coach, we have a lot of hard conversation on a lot of different subjects, not just on Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, but we go back and forth on a lot of things. But Coach is unapologetically, he sees what he sees, he's gonna critique what he sees, because we need that, right?
Yeah.
Critique is fine, and I love the way Coach critique is fine. Coach don't hate Angel Reese. He is he is a big fan of Angel Reese. So I don't want anybody to think that, because I don't want Coach to think that as well. That Coach, he is rooting for Angel Reese. He wants Angel Reese to succeed. But just like you said, it's not her, it's just when she talks. And he don't like it, but I love it. He don't like when a person talk but can't back it up. I love it. I love to see players talk and can't back it up. You know what I'm saying? Because now I'm watching, I'm like, let me just go ahead and throw it, because I'm one of them. Boy, you got to see
me too.
Oh, you got to see it. Oh, boy, can't nobody hold me on the court, but boy, I'll throw that ball over the backboard.
And just to add to Coach, and I agree with this little statement he just made for sure.
Coach.
They didn't come in like that. They didn't come in like that. And it took a couple finals. Like, what if Angel and Caitlin are in the finals for 4 years in a row? I'm not saying it's going to happen, but that would change the narrative, right? Anyway, to add on to what Coach just said, I love talking on the court. I love them acting on the court. I love people getting called for technical fouls for talking too much on the court. I think what he's saying is the same thing I have a problem with. A lot of times in her interviews, a lot of times in her press conferences, she runs her mouth and she gets herself in trouble for clickbait, right? And I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but she made that bed and she has to sleep in it, right? So her talking off the court is what is creating this narrative. Her talking on the court and her being angry and her being mad, all that stuff. I love that. That's why I'm a fan of her.
And I'm gonna call out a name that I know Coach will probably, because he's gonna probably say the same situation. When you look at somebody like Draymond Green, you got Draymond Green. He talks on the court not only to the opponents but to his teammate. He sucker punches his teammate. That dude career ain't been the same ever since then. He's doing every post game interview. We need to do this. We do like you doing anything. It's all on Steph right now. You ain't done nothing. It's on Steph and Jimmy Butler, but you act there like we need to do this. What did you do? You got 4 points. Right? And then he has his own podcast. We gets on his podcast and he critiques current players and old players as though he's sitting with a Hall of Fame nomination, right? Then he does. He's a frequently guest on TNT now that they're gone, and also ESPN, analyzing games. He was doing a playoff game not too long ago. I'm like, what you got to add to the conversation, right? But I know Coach don't like it, right? I don't like it. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's the same type of energy that Angel Reese brings to the game, right? You can have an IQ, and some of the greatest coaches that we've seen couldn't play basketball with the darn. We remember our guy Phil Jackson playing over the New York Knicks. When we talk about the 2 championships the New York Knicks won, Phil Jackson was on one of those squads, but he was nowhere to be found. You know what I'm saying?
He was like a 4.4 rebound guy.
He was the Kurt Rambis of that team.
Yes, sir. That's exactly who he was.
Basketball mind we've ever seen. The greatest basketball mind we ever seen. You would think that in his day that he was probably dropping 30 the way he was able to get all those rings as the coach, right?
Go ahead, Jay.
I mean, but brother, I feel what Eric's saying, but those two skills don't always equate. Look at Magic Johnson, a top tier player. He was not a good coach. What'd he do? 2 years, I think, or something like that. So it doesn't always equate. Those that can do, or those that can't do, teach, and those that can do can't teach, or however that old saying goes.
But the hate is coming from the haters are people that don't know hoops, and they probably never played any kind of sports or been in any type of competition in their life. Because we all had nemesis, we all had people that we didn't like on the court or on the field or on the diamond. but we figured out a way to compete against them. And after the game was over, we went and we shook their hands, said good game, and we went about our business, EC. So Coach said, I love Draymond. His job's not to score, it's make an impact in other ways. Does it very well, has for a long time. That's why he's been a starter most of his career.
That's why him and Angel are the same player. They're the same person.
To add to that, people fail to realize that during the 2024 draft, Camille Cardozo was Chicago Sky's first overall pick at number 3 because they brought her in for offense. Angel was number 7, their second pick. They brought her in for defense. Her job was not to bring the offense, even though she had all this fanfare. The coaches in Chicago knew what they was doing. Even though she's a hot commodity, even though she's supposed to be high in the draft, she's supposed to be Chicago Sky's first pick. Everybody thought she was going to be Chicago Sky's first pick, but Chicago Sky said, no, we need a ball-dominant girl. Let's bring in Camille Cardozo. Unfortunately, she got hurt that first season, which forced Angel Reese to be in the starting lineup. Now that Camille Cardozo is back, now she's in the paint more than Angel Reese, and Angel Reese has been sitting there playing a lesser role because Camille, it took a long while to get hurt. She was just worse Angel down in that post, but now she's starting to get the momentum. Her field goal percentage, I think she's got over 40% right now, but she started out real bad in the low 20s these first couple of games, but she's getting the momentum now. But once again, Angel Reese was not drafted to Chicago Sky for offense, only for her defensive rebound. Camille Cardozo was the one they chose. I just want to reiterate that. So just like you said, Coach, she was not brought in just like Draymond. She was brought in to be that person. You know what I'm saying? And you talking about a team that has to weigh. This girl got 5 million social media followers. She can bring a lot of attention to the Chicago Sky. We're still not choosing her as an number 1 overall pick for Chicago Sky because we know what we're looking for in the organization. And if she's still sitting there in our seventh pick, we're going to get her. And she was still sitting there, so they got her. Well,
I'm going to get some feedback. I'm going to get some backlash from J-Dub on this, but just like Dennis Rodman, Draymond Green.
You crazy, G.
She's Draymond. She's Draymond. She ain't Ben. She's Draymond.
Draymond Green and Dennis Rodman, who will never be considered in the top 50 greatest players of all time. We'll see if Angel can get better offensively, but she's going to have a really good perimeter score around her for her to do what she needs to do.
The first thing I'm going to end, and then I'm done with this conversation. I'm going to end the way I began. She needs to get her offensive mindset better. She's got to make better decisions, right? She can't go 1-on-3 against these ladies in the league, and she could at LSU and in high school. She can't do that. So she's still stuck in a different mind frame. She's got to fix her offensive decision-making skills, and then I think everything else falls into place.
Yeah. And you know what humbled her? Because I know people what humbled her was the unrivaled league. Her rookie year, it was all about her and Caitlin. She lived up to that. She took the villain role and she got all that fanfare. But when she got into the unrivaled league and she realized that she can't play one-on-one against some of the bigs like Fee and like Breanna Stewart, right after the unrivaled league, she got with our girl Lisa Les and say, "Look, I need to get some better footwork." And poor Lisa, she did all she could to help our girl out. She tried, but it's a work in progress. I don't know if Angel Reese will ever fix her footwork. I don't know. But she can still be great in this league because you look at somebody like a Sylvia Fowles. Sylvia Fowles was a beast down low, but Sylvia Fowles was more effective in defensive rebound, especially when Brittany Griner came into the league, a girl who's got 3 inches on her, and she had to really, really dig hard. And putting all the energy trying to guard Brittany Griner, she focused more on her defense and rebound and all the intangibles, like getting a loose ball, being that dog on the court. And she just recently became a basketball Hall of Famer, you know? So, I mean, Angel, she can pave a different way to greatness, but just watch her game. Just watch her overall game.
And I don't think, again, it's hard to compare Angel to anybody. Like I said on other ones, she's 1-of-1. She's one of one.
Oh, Z-Man.
Yeah.
There isn't a good comparison. She's not Sylvia. She's not Brittany, right? So she's a Rodman. She's a Draymond. And I don't want to keep using those words. I guess what I'm trying to say is she's a bona fide all-star who doesn't have to score.
Facts.
It's hard to be an all-star, and she can average less than 10 points a game, and I'd still consider her one of the 30 best players right now. So we haven't seen this.
Come on, 30.
Well, that's an all-star team. Well, I didn't pick that number out of nowhere. It's 15 and 15. It's 30 players. I don't have to go any more specific than that. So she is an all-star without having to score, and we've not seen that yet in the W. So it's new.
Right. It's very new. And the last thing I'll say about this, for those who are who may catch, not the ones who are watching right now, but those who may catch this podcast and rebroadcast, I brought this conversation up not to just try to clickbait people to watch it, but I wanted to, and I say this respectfully. Not saying that we have all the knowledge and we're just good at what we do, even though I believe in what we in the product we're putting out. But high level basketball breakdown. You don't have to trash another player in your critique. Stick to the script. Say what you don't like. Say the things you need to be concerned. That's what Coach Martez is trying to do so well. But you guys out there that are calling her B's and H's and all this stuff like that and saying she's trash and just, y'all, that is not fair. That is not right. And that's not acceptable. And then definitely don't make it about race.
Amen.
Please don't do it that way.
No, of all the things, my goodness.
Yeah. When you have a low interest in something, your expectation is high. So a lot of these people, they have a low interest in WNBA basketball. So when they watch it, their expectations are high. They want to see the greatest of the great. And when you turn on and watch Caitlin Clark, you're going to get your money's worth. But only because she's going to go out and score at a high level. Angel Reese, you're going to have to watch a little bit more. But if you have a low interest of the sport, as soon as she missed that layup one time, you're done. And it's not fair.
I'll criticize both of them equally. Did anybody see Caitlin's last game before she got hurt? She had 10 turnovers and she was like 3 for 12. So my point is just like what you just said. If you want to clip clips together, you can make anybody look bad and you can make anybody look good. Hell, you don't even have to use real clips nowadays with AI. Just type it in and it'll create it for you.
Oh, y'all to see some of I took them down to my early YouTube posts. Boy, I found every clip that I found of me making a shot. And I posted it took me about 30 shots to
should have been in the league, baby. They call me butter. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, Coach, I was at the gym one day. It took me 30 shots to make my first shot. But if I clipped that one in, and then I found it took me 25 to make another. By the end of the day, I had like 30 shots picked up. But I was in the gym for 2 hours for those 30 shots. Like butter.
There's 1,000 examples. I don't remember if y'all remember Chris Anderson's dunk contest. If you just look at the make, it's impressive, man. I'm like, man, how did he not go further? And then I remember I watched that live, and it took him 34 attempts to make it. Right? Same thing. It's all the same thing. But those people who are keyboard warriors and weigh 400 pounds and do nothing but drink Dr. Pepper and eat donuts all day, they're gonna criticize because that's all they know how to do, dude. That's all they know how to do. And I don't pay it no mind because I know I'm better at this topic than they are. So next.
All right. And you got last thing to say, D-Way?
We beat this thing to death, but I'm gonna finish my part of this segment with this. Angel Reese is freaking great for the game. She's great for the sport. She does all the things that you want as far as a player and an athlete, and just with her attitude, and she's just she's that player because she runs her mouth and she's cocky and she got swag and she's gorgeous and all this other that you just kind of love to rag on, if you will. So, but she's awesome to watch.
But on a more serious note, and I'm going to end it with this. On a more serious note, most women, well, the stats are this: young women drop out of sports by the age of 14 because of low body confidence. 45% of young women drop out of sports by the age of 14 because of low body confidence. When you look at what Angel Reese is doing with her social media feed, the way she dressed, the way she's trying to be a model, you go all the way back to Lisa Leslie, you know what I'm saying, who started it all, you know what I'm saying, being that superstar, but showing that even though I'm big and I'm tall and I'm bulky, you can still be sexy. We've seen that with Swim Cash. We've seen that with Tia Cooper. We've seen that with Skylar Diggins-Smith. Now you see that with people like Asia Wilson as well as Angel Reese. We see that with people like with Kia Jackson, and just Dejanay Carrington. You know what I'm saying? They're bringing a different aspect to in basketball, because the comment that she made when she said that all the newfound fans of women's basketball is not about one person. Remember what she said. She did not say WNBA. She said women's basketball, and that was a true statement because everything they're doing, not about just on the hardwood, but everything these women are doing to get these young women to stay in athletics. Yes, we're big. Yes, we're bulky. Yes, the guys are not going to be looking at us up front because we're not the cheerleader bodies. We can't help the way God made us. But you too still can invest in your athleticism and still be sexy. That's why I looked your little girl last week in the face and said, don't give up. Don't give up. Because when the stuff, the women start coming up, that's when they start getting away. Don't give up on your sport. If you love what you do, stay in what you do. And we got to let every young lady out there do not give on the sport that you love because what the little boys are looking at. Stay in your lane and keep playing sport. That's all I'm asking.
Good. And then lastly, Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark are laughing all the way to the bank.
Signing checks, throwing bills. You know what I'm saying?
All right, here we go, man. Oh, here we go. NBA Finals. J-Dub, you made a comment last week. You said that, as much as we want to see OKC win this thing, but can we really, and I want the guys that are watching, can we really, really count Indiana out of this series?
I'm gonna go first because I gotta go, and I'm gonna keep it good. And y'all can back talk me all you want. I've been counting Indiana out for the whole playoffs. It's no point stopping now. I've been wrong all the way. I'll be wrong all the way to the end. Oklahoma in 4.
Man,
I don't think Indiana's got the dogs. I don't think they got the legs. I don't think they got the bigs. I don't think they got a guy who can guard Shy. But let me finish the way I started. I've been wrong all playoffs. I've been betting against Indiana since they played Milwaukee. And I'm gonna keep the train moving negatively towards Indiana.
Oh my gosh, Z-Man, final NBA was about to call the Fairweather Fan suits. He said, finally, we got talking about the NBA. He was about to call the executives for Fairweather Fan, man, and complain. So,
Z-Man, you know you're a WNBA fan.
So let me break it down for y'all. J-Dub's got him in 4. Z-Man's got him in 5. Coach D-Way's got him in 6.
EC22 got him in 7. This is going to be a 7-game series. I know I'm waiting on Jonathan G coming because I know what he's going to say because Jonathan G always believe in the coaches. He always say that Rick Carlisle is going to outcoach. Who is the Thunder coach?
And listen, so let me add on to that. I said this to D-Way earlier. If Indiana finds a way to win this, Carlisle has got to be in the top 5 of all-time coaches. I think that cements him permanently into a top 5 conversation. I mean, you got to talk about Phil, Pat, and Pop, and then he's next.
Hey, if he gets them to Game 7, you can throw him in there.
Yeah, amen to that. I agree with that statement.
So when you look at players like Miles Turner and Pascal Siakam, and then you add in Tyrese Halliburton, and then who you looking? You're looking at what? Jay Williams. You're looking at Shai and Chet Holmgren. I mean, I'm obviously their bigs are. I mean, Chet Holmgren is a big guy, but I think Pascal can guard him pretty well. It's some say it's evenly matched.
If it was 3-on-3, that would be an even match. But Oklahoma City's playing 5 more people. I agree with you. If this is a 3-on-3 run, man, it's a coin flip. In fact, I like Indiana a little bit. I don't think Chet would play very well in 3-on-3. But come on, man.
I talked to a pharmacist today, face to face, eyeball to eyeball, in Sulphur, Oklahoma. And he had on his, I wish I had it, was a really sweet Oklahoma City Thunder golf shirt. Don't tell him what he paid for that. And a real sweet Oklahoma City Thunder golf hat. And he and me know each other for a minute. And he told me how small of a payroll that OKC has.
Most of them are on their rookie contract still.
Yeah, he said they don't know what they're going to do when they got to resign all these guys. He said
they're going to lose. They're going to lose.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Hey, but I don't think y'all heard me. J-Dub in 4, Z-Man in 5, EC in 7. Coach D-Way has the Pacers in 6.
Oh, I didn't hear you. I didn't hear you.
Boo.
So I'll put some money on it with you. Hey,
and don't tell your EC. Don't tell your wife. Do not tell your wife, EC.
Y'all trying to get me kicked out the house.
Z-Man, okay,
fellas, I'm out.
Injuries.
All right, J-Dub.
All right, J-Dub. Yeah. It was fun. Enjoyed it.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I agree with you, Z-Man. Carlisle's tough. Carlisle's top 5. I mean, Carlisle's top 5 right now for me, period. Okay? But I think what J-Dub's trying to say is that OKC's bench is a lot better than Indiana's bench. We'll see. Everybody, every bookie, every odds maker in Vegas, they've all bet against the Pacers. Okay?
But this is where coaching come in, because even though we can look on paper and say, okay, OKC got some dogs or they got a little bit more depth on their bench, but the problem is this is the finals, right? And if the pressure come on, those top 3 are going to be paying a lot of heavy minutes. Carlisle have shown time and time again, especially with this Pacers team, he's going to share the minutes regardless. So even though they're depth, but he's going to go with at least 6, 7 guys in rotation because that's what he loves to do. You know what I'm saying? And if that becomes a situation where guys starting to get tired, I can see, it can go down to 7-game series, but at that point, it's going to come down to grit and determination. And if you got those top 3 for OKC playing the heavy minutes game after game, then it could be a situation going to game 7. Now, OKC, they have the home court advantage, right? Mm-hmm. It's up, that's what I'm looking at. But I'm also looking at, there are some key guys with OKC that I just don't see having a constantly, they're not consistent. I think Caruso is not consistent. Definitely not a boy who gets a lot of early minutes. Cason Wallace, the second-year player, and I've been rooting for this kid since he was in Richardson High School, and I'm just.
Come on now, let's go Eagles. Let's go Eagles. Come on.
Yeah, and I know he's short, but I don't like the way he's ready to give up the ball. Like there is no dog in him. It's like he can be right there for a wide open shot. He ain't even looking to the basket. That type of mentality is going to play out when you coming down to play. When your guys are tired, and I know it's muscle memory to pass the ball away, you're gonna have to be ready to get your guys out. I watched John Mahimi for the Mavericks going into the 4th quarter. They give the ball to him with 5 seconds left on the shot clock, and he just with confidence bust a 20-footer and bing, bing on LeBron. That much confidence, right? In a tight game going into the 4th quarter. That's the type of confidence. That's the type of confidence Rick Carlisle instills in his players. I don't know if OKC going to have that confidence. I can just see him getting that ball and ready to pass up. We know Caruso going to get hot. He going to do his thing, whatever, if he chooses to, if he's playing that type of game. But from others, I don't know. They got some ball, but it's easy to defer at this level.
Yeah. Most people are saying OKC wins the first 2 at home. Pacers win game 3. OKC wins game 4 in Indiana, and they come home in game 5 and they close it out. That's what all you hacks are saying, okay? But let me tell you something. I like what you said about Carlisle. I watched him the other night. I thought he kept Halliburton and Turner on the bench way too long. That's because he has so much confidence in all of his other guys.
Absolutely.
You hear me?
Absolutely.
So I love it. But I tell you, let's answer this question. What do the Pacers have to do to win this series? I'm going to throw that out to all the viewers and everybody watching. Jonathan G, Coach, Z-Man, whoever's out there that wants to chime in. And EC, what's your answer? What do the Pacers have to do to win this series?
Now I'm gonna answer this in a fan way. I'm not gonna answer this with X's and O's, not until they actually start playing, right? But right now I'm gonna go from the fan, and it may seem like it's low hanging fruit and it's an easy way out, but I'm dead serious about this. They're gonna have to play a clean game. They're gonna have to, and when I mean clean, they're gonna have to play their game, play their clean. I mean, right now everybody's counting them out. You know what I'm saying? And like J-Dub said, we've all been counting them out ever since Milwaukee, but, they have been proving us wrong. So if they just keep that same momentum, play their game, play the game they know they can play, And then but if they start getting into the Oklahoma hype and start getting into, oh snap, we got to beat them versus them, they got to beat us, then it's going to be a landslide. They cannot go away from the grit and the confidence that Rick Carlisle has installed in them. And that's the problem between player and coach. Coach can give you all the tools and he can see you, but sometimes you get in a hardwood, mindsets go elsewhere. You know what I'm saying? They lose it all, and they gotta stick to the script, and they got a chance.
Oklahoma City's young. They're very young. They're very green. You can go, well, they haven't been acting like it. Well, this is what they call, as the caption says right there, this is the NBA Finals.
Absolutely.
And until you get there and you experience that and you taste that and you actually lose one of those, you don't really know what it's all about, okay? So I just think if the Pacers, and you use the word clean, which encompasses everything.
Yeah.
I'm going to be specific and say one thing and one thing only. If the Pacers can stay out of foul trouble.
Yeah.
If they can stay out of foul trouble, this thing could go 6 or 7 games. Z-Man, Jonathan G, Coach, what y'all's take on this?
I know Coach is getting ready for their podcast, so he's probably already logged off right now. But Jonathan G, I got people still watching. Y'all go ahead and give y'all comments right quick as we continue this conversation. But no, I mean, you're right. They have to stay out of foul trouble. And basically, it's like I said, that's a lot. Definitely got to get offensive rebounds.
That's all under that clean package that you were talking about.
Which would be easy to do because they like to shoot closer to the basket. So they're not okay. I mean, I'm sorry, Indiana like to shoot threes. So long shots, long rebounds. So it's going to get them at a disadvantage. OKC like to shoot closer to the basket, more chance for offensive rebounds. So that's going to play a lot into it. And that's what I'm saying, that if they get into the Oklahoma City game, trying to play more of a traditional half-court offense, you know what I'm saying, where they're getting down the ball and trying to set up and stuff like that and get everybody out of the rhythm, they got to stick to the guns. They're going to have to play.
Well, I mean, but let's steal some of J-Dub's thunder here. You know, he's talked about the pace of play that Oklahoma City plays, and how fast they play and how much they push the ball. But that also plays into that, what you said, that forces the Pacers not to play a clean game.
Yeah.
You know, because they're chasing their tail, trying to get back, and you know they're not in position, and then they do foul because they're out of position.
I also think that and it's going to be a hard task, but if they can, I'm not saying you can't slow down Shea because he can make 30 points look like he ain't did nothing at all. If they can stop him, minimize him at least for a couple of games to where he's only scoring 15 points or less, they got a shot because that team is going to come unglued as much as they are they got depth, but Shea is their heartbeat because he's a guy who's going to constantly take shot after shot after shot after shot. And when he's not out, they're going to try to force him to get back in. And that's going to be the detriment of them if they try to roll with that. Now, like I say, that's coaching. They ain't got nothing to do with the players because sometimes players come in hot, sometimes they don't come in hot. So it's going to be a lot going on. And I love what Z-Man just said. Exactly. He's going to have to be the difference maker for Indiana.
No, for sure.
You know, because he's going to be the guy that's going to be the grit guy. He's going to be the guy that's going to be getting to the pound with him, along with him, Miles Turner. We know what Halliburton going to do. He's going to sit around and shoot. And he does that well. But this is where the grit come in because he's going to be playing the same role that Shea is playing, that gritty inside the perimeter type game. And they're going to need that, right? And I don't want him to see a play a lot with his back to the basket. I want him to really, really pay attention to and be intentional with his shot selection. But once again, emotions get high. If the ball not dropping the way they want to drop, everything come unhinged. And then now the question is, we saw a lot of, with the OKC, we seen a lot of blowout games. Almost every game was a blowout game. Do we see a lot of lopsided scores from game to game, or do we see things being a little tighter?
It's going to be weird because, first of all, let me address Z-Man because I like to rag on him because Siakam, it wasn't an accident that he won the MVP of the East, finals. Okay. Number two, he has the body and the skill set to be a superstar in this league.
Yeah.
Okay. he has such a quiet, smooth game. I hate to give Z-Man that much credit because, he thinks he knows hoops, they don't play hoops in Zimbabwe. I mean, who's he trying to fool? Okay.
Hey, man, that's some of the best players come out of it.
But, I'm such a big Rick Carlisle guy. I am.
Yeah.
And this Pacer team, you know what? An old wise man once told me, EC22, whoever gets hot at the right time.
Yeah.
And this Pacer team has proven that they are super hot right now. They're playing very well together. And, Siakam is a guy that can really cause a problem for Oklahoma City, just like Holmgren can cause a big problem for Indiana,
Facts.
But
I love it.
It's going to be fun.
Hey, y'all stay tuned, and the NBA final starts on Thursday. And y'all, we've come to the end of the show, man. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Lewis. Thanks, Johnny G, for getting on. We appreciate you, Coach. Z-Man, getting on, and all of those who continue to support the podcast and show your love for what we do here. Now, listen, our show, we try to cover. We're interested in a lot of different sports out here, right? And every sport, and almost every sport, right? So if there's a particular sport that you want us to cover, please let us know, and we'll definitely dive and do our homework and get in, and we'll bring you some content for the sport that you like, right? But man, we're here next Tuesday. Listen, we're going to be talking about women's softball, just letting you know, because it should be sold up by then.
Yeah.
We're going to continue to talk about the WNBA season because, hey, they're getting started. The men is coming to the end. So we're going to still talk about right now, and also baseball. Next week, we're going to do a little deeper dive into baseball. And obviously, we're salty because our Rangers are not doing so well here. So I don't know how much we're going to cover, but we're going to get into some baseball, softball, and we're just going to keep going. So if there's any sport that you want us to cover, we'll cover it. We're here for you. This is much as your channel is ours. Because we always say, please join the conversation, because that's what we're here for. We're here for you guys, and just get involved in the conversation. We appreciate all the information, all the feedback we got, and that's what we're here for. But until then, man, listen, this your boy EC22, Coach D-Way, and our boy J-Dub, man. This is the Fairweather Fan channel. Man, please like, subscribe, share, leave comments. But once again, you sit at the bottom, join the conversation. Until next Tuesday at 6 o'clock p.m., we are out.
Awesome.